This past summer, we had a little calf born on the farm. And one day I went to move the cows, and the calf was nowhere to be found. Like, I couldn't find it. I looked everywhere, up and down. And I thought to myself, well, if I move the cows, the calf will surely come. So I moved the cows, and no calf. The mother just went with everyone else. It's just really strange. So I looked all over the field again. Couldn't find the calf anywhere. So I thought, well, maybe the mother knows where it is. So I bring the mother back, and sure enough, she knows exactly where this calf is. She goes right up to one of the fence lines, and she just starts pacing back and forth. So I go up, and I don't see the calf anywhere. So I go over the fence line, and I look down, and down at the bottom of this fairly steep ravine, maybe about 30 feet down, is a calf. And it's curled up in a nice little ball and sleeping away in the ravine. So I go down and I pick up this calf because I don't think it can make it back up the hill. And I drag this calf back up the hill, carrying it in all its little calf glory. And I get it over the fence, and the mother wants nothing to do with me. She wants me out of the picture because her calf is back and she wants me gone. But this is a problem because I want the mother back with everyone else, and I want the calf to go with it. But no matter how I angle myself, no matter how I try to encourage them to go back, mother and calf are staying put. So the next day I go and try again. Mother is happy to go with all the other calves because she knows her calf is sleeping in the middle of the field. But I really want to move this cow-calf pair. So I get in my head, what if I put the calf in the truck? So I bring up the truck, and I think to myself, well, if the calf decides it doesn't want to be in the truck, putting it in the bed of the truck is probably a bad idea. So I put the calf in the front seat, in the passenger seat, and I think this will work just fine. And so we drive like 500 meters to where the rest of the cows are. And in that time, this little calf has managed to poop all over the truck. Like, I mean, this orange sticky poop on the door handle, on the seats, on the mats, on the glove compartment. Like how could it do so much damage in just like 5 minutes? There's a reason we don't keep livestock in our living rooms, right? Like, 'cause they're just messy. But until recently, like, animals were a critical part of most people's livelihood. You kept very close tabs on where your animals were. And this is no different in first century Palestine. Like, in first century Palestine, people would have had animals, and they didn't have barns to keep them in. So they would keep them right next to their house, like in a little lean-to beside their house. They would have one main living space, and then right beside that living space was their animals. And scholars think a lot of these homes actually had like a little hole in the wall where they could put animal feed, like a manger, in the living room. Like, imagine if your living room had like a little hole in the wall, and your cow or your donkey or your goats would come up and eat out of this manger. Like, you could be eating your meal, and the cows are eating the meal right next to you, but at least you know where they are. At least you know they're safe. Scholars think that this was the setup of houses back then. There would be one room, and then this little lean-to right beside it, and a manger connecting the two rooms. They also think that there was a part of the house like a guest room. And anytime people from out of town came, there weren't Best Westerns, there weren't Motel 8s. No, there were guest rooms, and you would invite people into your house. It was the honorable, good thing to do. And the Christmas story, it starts with a governor, as Caesar, declaring that there is to be this census. Like, everyone is to be accounted for. So everyone has to go back to their hometown. And so all these guest rooms, sometimes translated as inns, were full. Family and extended family from all over the place was coming to these little places that they hadn't been maybe even for generations. And everything was full. And then come Mary and Joseph. Like, they've probably been a little bit slower to travel. Mary is 9 months pregnant. They have a donkey, yes, but traveling is tough. And so they make it to Bethlehem. And scholars think there's no way Mary and Joseph would have been allowed to sleep in a stable. But there was no room in the guest room. And so the families of Mary and Joseph, even though they didn't know Mary and Joseph, would have felt a great sense of ownership, a great sense of honor and responsibility to host Mary and Joseph. And so what do? They just invite Mary and Joseph into their living room. Mary and Joseph land in a living room of some distant relative in Bethlehem. And there, Mary has her baby in a living room. And yeah, it's so crowded that maybe that soft little bundle of hay that's tucked in the manger in the wall is where the baby gets put, because there's just so many people around. We've spent a lot of time in our living rooms these days, haven't we? Like, the lockdown has forced us to be in our living rooms and our home offices and in our guest spaces more than we ever dreamt possible. We're sick of the living rooms, and yet, what if the light is born into a living room? What if it's born into your living room, like my living room, with a Christmas tree the night before Christmas Eve with just one present on it because we haven't had time to wrap other presents, with clutter on the coffee table and unfolded laundry in baskets sitting by the fire? Like, maybe that's where the light is born. And maybe you're watching this because COVID is making it impossible for you to get out and do your normal traditions. Maybe your living room, which was once full of people on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, is now going to be eerily empty. All the more reason for light to be born in your living room. So may you know that light. May that light emerge in unexpected ways. Peace and grace to you.